hello from Ahmed, Bali. And today we're going to talk about the sausages, not the ones we can eat, but the ones we deploy from underwater or on a surface, depending on how it's called and what's the purpose of using it. One of the hardest things to understand about this stuff is when you use SMB and when you use DSMB. So basically what DSMB means is Delayed Surface Marker Buoy. SMB is Surface Marker Buoy. And if you're looking at them, so which one is which one? It's actually just the purpose you use them. Each of this one can be DSMB and each of them can be also DSMB. So for example, SMB, you deploy on a surface and you drag it all the dive long on a surface so the boat can follow you, or the boats who are passing this area, they can see that there is a divers below. Now let's talk about DSMBs in details. So there are bigger ones and smaller ones. Like for example, this one is most probably only 1 meter long, and this one is mostly used for technical diving needs. You can inflate it orally, and that's it. You cannot inflate it with the help of your alternate air source or the secondary air source. It should be enough one exhale, so let's try it. And it's full. So that means my 7.2 liter lungs volume is more than enough to inflate this one. In technical diving, this one means all is good. So the red color means it's the usual stuff. If there are yellow and red on the same line, that means it's a trouble underwater. That's why it's kind of confusing with this recreational dive buoys when one side is yellow and other one is red. It's just a design. Most probably you've seen also pink or whatever, and the people having fun. Sometimes they have some teddy bears on the top of them, clownfishes. There are so many different designs for the DSMBs in the recreational diving, and it's just a tool to attract people to buy them. If I would dive in conditions where there are big waves, most probably I will never use this one because it's too small. Like just emerging from the surface, it's only 1 meter above the waves and sometimes you cannot see it. Personally, I'm using the one which is about 1.5 meters. When I'm inflating it from the bottom, afterwards it's gonna float on the surface and it will not lose air out. First of all, it's visible above the wave. And another thing is it's quite big and it's providing enough buoyancy to stay on a surface with a single tank, if my BCD doesn't work. We can inflate it different ways, 3 different ways to be exact. So the first one is you open the bottom, you take your alternate air source and you purge the air into it. If you inflate it from 5 meter depth or 6 meter depth and you got air up to this level, the air inside it will expand, and when it will reach the surface it will be full. But if you will try to orally inflate it, it's gonna take too long, and most probably you will find yourself on a surface by the moment when it's gonna be full. Most probably it's not really good idea to do oral inflation of this DSMB, which is quite big. The third option is you can disconnect LPI hose from your inflator. You can put it on the top of this one, and when you will press towards this one, it will just simply inflate it. I will show it underwater and then you will understand how it works. But then, sometimes we're diving also in Indian Ocean next to Nusa Penida, and the waves or surge there is quite big. And most probably that 1.5 meters tall DSMB is not enough to make yourself visible for the boat which is going to pick you up. So in this case, you can choose longer DSMB. And then we have these tall ones. And that's the one I was talking about. There is a Nemo on the top of it. That's not mine. Yeah, don't think it's mine. I'm not using it. So this one is a tall one. And it's gonna be way more visible when you deploy it. And then we have this another ones. They are a little bit cheaper, simply because open bottom. As long you keep it vertical and as long the bottom of this DSMB is underwater, the air stays in. If it falls flat on a surface, the air gonna come out. But that's the cheapest DSMB you can get All right, so another really important thing for DSMBs and SMBs is spool. The spools are different lengths. The shortest one is 15 meters, then there are 20, 25, 30 meter long ones. And it depends in which conditions you use. If you're diving in a strong current and going to deploy your DSMB while underwater and then follow this DSMB from the underwater, I would recommend you to have a little bit longer lines, simply because if you deploy it and the line is really short, the DSMB is like a sail, and because it's lighter than you, it's floating on a surface way faster than you. So finally what happens? This one is travel faster. So if you're not releasing line enough, so you will find yourself on a surface. If the line is only 5 or 10 meters long, because you think, why I would need longer line because I'm deploying it from 5-6 meter depth, so then that's gonna be a trouble for you. Most probably you didn't get it because you need some experience to understand it, but that's how it works. So if you're diving in a strong current, get some 30 meter line and release it out as long as you're drifting with the current. The size really matters for the reason from which depth you're deploying it. So if you're deploying this small one, 1 meter, so most probably you can do it from 3 meter depth, nothing will happen. You can be pretty slow and you will still stay on the same depth when this one will reach the surface. But if you will try to deploy this 1.5 meters DSMB from the 3 meter depth, same as I was saying about the small one, you will find yourself on a surface simply because while you will do it, the buoyancy of the DSMB will pull you up towards the surface, and that's why you will be there. So that's why my recommendation is for different size DSMBs, you have to use different depths. This one I'm usually deploying from 6 meter depth, no problem. I just have my technique, which I will show you a little bit later when we will be in the water. And you will find Hey Dory! I just have my special technique how I'm doing it, which I will show you when we will be underwater. This long one, most probably it's designed to deploy it from some 9 meter depth. I've been trying to do it from 6 meter depth, and it's quite challenging. It's pulling me up a lot because the buoyancy of it, it's tremendous. So once again, if you have longer DSMB, just do deployment from deeper depth. All right, let's start with the Dory sausage or DSMB. That's the biggest one I had during this dive. First of all, take the clip off. You can clip it on a sleeve or your wetsuit. Then take all the bungees off, velcros. Then unroll it. Make sure it's floating up, so then it's easier to inflate. I'm gonna inflate the hose to inflate it. And it's also faster to do that. The second one, I'm gonna use my personal DSMB I'm using on every single dive since last year, and that's why it looks so bad and abused all possible ways. My technique is I'm using my left hand, I'm putting the reel on my middle finger, I'm holding with the thumb and then index finger, DSMB, and using alternator sauce to inflate it. You have to be pretty quick, otherwise you're gonna ascend a bit. The third one is a DSMB from the technical diving. It's huge. But again, if you deploy it from some 7-8 meter depth, it's not a problem. This one is the smallest one, the one I'm going to inflate orally, simply because there is no any option, like I said before, to inflate it from the bottom. the bottom is closed. So take your regulator out and one long exhale. As you see, my buoyancy is not changing at all because the buoyancy of it is really little. And that's it, going up really nice. And the last one, I'm gonna use that open end. I will inflate it also on the surface, but here I will show you how it's done from underwater. Nothing really special. As you can see, you can put your arm in there and yeah, it's just open bottom. And as any other DSMB, you deploy by purging air into it. And here we go. And remember, you have to keep your line like a string. When you ascend, you roll the line in and it's like you pulling yourself out of the water towards surface. And here I will just show you the point where you have to keep this DSMB really vertical, otherwise air is coming out. So see, as long as it's vertical, the air stays in. If the bottom of the DSMB is on a surface, it immediately becomes empty and useless. So that's how it looks like from underwater. What is the benefit of DSMB with the dump valve is, as you saw most probably, if there is too much air into it, so it's just dumping it out, preventing the DSMB from rupture. And as you saw with this open-end DSMB, it's like I would inflate it only when I'm on a surface, when I can control that it's vertical. If it's falling on a side, the air comes out. So that's why, honestly, in all my diving career, I've never been really using it. I got it from Paddy for free, something for free from Paddy, and that's why I have it. And it was actually great that because then I was able to show you how it works with that one as well. Alright, we spent a lot of time to creating this video. If you appreciate it, to watch it, so don't forget to like it and also subscribe, and see you on the next one. Bye. Stop recording.